What's going on, guys? Coach Stefan here. Doing a client interview with somebody that's been in our program about 1 month. Josh, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, just your age, your lifestyle, your career, so people have an understanding of who you are and a little bit of background on you.
Yeah, I'm Josh Bennett. I'm a lieutenant firefighter paramedic in Massachusetts. I'm 42 years old, and I was looking for some guidance and some extra control into my life, and that's how I ended up here.
Yeah, yeah. And you have kids too, right?
Yeah, I'm a dad of two. I've got a 10-year-old and a 9-year-old. Uh, some days are much easier than others.
Yeah. No, it's good. I mean, I'm a parent of two boys, and I think it's important for people to kind of understand. And I mean, obviously, like, that's just another dynamic and piece of the puzzle you have to move around. And it's important because I think a lot of the community we work with, I mean, a lot of people are parents. And one thing that I think that I used to do and I hear a lot is we use our kids kind of as crutches of like, oh, I can't do this, or my kids, or I can't work out because of my kids. And so it's really powerful to see somebody that is working full time in fire, that's busy, that has kids, that can accomplish it. Cause that's like the number one fear is, how am I going to work this into my lifestyle? Right. So obviously you're in fire. How's that been over the last 30 days, finding, working one-on-one with Coach Ryan and integrating it into, your schedule, your goals, your lifestyle?
Honestly, like I got super lucky. I love working with Coach Ryan. I think that he's been able to kind of find what worked for me. I wasn't doing so hot with the traditional stuff, so I kind of talked to him about, my workouts being more of designed in an hour time limit, because
Mhm.
that kind of fit my kids' life of taking the kids to school, picking them up from school, and doing all of those things, and still not taking away from the family time. Because I'm going to be honest with you, that stuff's way more important than anything else, is
Sure.
being able
Yeah.
to spend time with them. And then I wasn't looking to sacrifice 2, 3 hours a day to go sit in the gym while they're at home doing their thing. So
Yeah.
he was able to find that system for me, and I most of my workouts are usually, depending on if I amp it up a little bit with more cardio like walking or whatever, has been able to kind of fit that. And my daughter even comes out into the gym, and I'm fortunate
Awesome.
enough to have a garage gym that my daughter comes out and she bangs out more pull-ups than I do, but it is what it is. So it's kind of fun. They've kind of taken a life into it. Plus, it's kind of given me a lot more energy and everything to go out and spend time with them and do more as
Yep.
far as, just everyday life.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a big fan of, I mean, behind me is a pretty, I think it's a pretty sweet setup. I have a garage gym, and my son's going to be 14, and he goes out in there and he's in that like prime, like testosterone, like, let me
Oh
beat you up,
yeah.
dad. So it's fun to watch him go in there. And I mean, he's been watching me since we were little. I've had built up my garage gym like 3, 4 years ago. It's pretty cool now. And so the whole family trains there. But even regardless, like, I used to take my son to the gym, or even when he was like really little, to daycare. So it's good that you're setting that example and they're seeing dad take care of himself. But like you said, the most important thing is your family. And I'm a big believer in not spending like hours on hours and in the gym. Especially if you have a family, like, you have a priority, and they come first, but it doesn't mean that you're going to let your health go to the wayside, right?
Right.
Um, Now, since you've been working with us for about a month, you've had pretty good results. Talk about some of the results you've seen in the past 30 days.
Well, I can honestly say for the first few weeks, I think Coach Ryan was just as frustrated as I was. I wasn't seeing any change in the scale. I wasn't seeing much change. I didn't have a way to check body fat initially, so for me, it was just watching the scale.
Yeah.
For those first few weeks, it was a little bit rough because for me, I'm a numbers guy, and when I didn't see the numbers dropping, I was like, I'm really putting a lot of effort into
Yeah.
this, and I'm not seeing anything. It kind of took a little while for me to start recognizing it. My wife and other coworkers and stuff like that were starting to see results, and I just kind of would blow it off because I didn't see them.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it was just like I think my body finally recognized the change of it and started catching up. I think I was just building muscle as much as I was losing fat, and so like I've already lost 3 belt loops. I've gone down three
Wow.
notches on the belt. I've lost just about 15 pounds right now. I think I'm
Dude.
down 2.5% body fat since I started actually tracking it. So, um, for me, it's just kind of been it's using the app and being able to see, making sure I'm hitting my macros every day and making sure I'm hitting the goals that he had set for me. And then on the same token, being able to check off the boxes, not leaving an action done
Yeah.
for the day and stuff like that has been good, because even if I forget one, I go back and I just make a double day to make sure that I do
Yeah.
get all of my stuff checked off. So
Yeah. So it sounds like between the coach communicating with you and holding you accountable on the app, like that accountability has made a huge change. I mean, 2.5% body fat, increased performance, down 15 pounds in 30 days. It's pretty beast, man. It's a testament to you putting in the work too.
yeah, like I said, I mean, I kind of joked with Jean-Luc, and I joked with Ryan when this all started. I said, my goal for this was to be one of the pictures that's used in the end of this. I want to be
Yeah.
that example. And I've done crash courses. I was much bigger 2 years ago. I dropped down 100 pounds by you know doing my own form of diet of
Yeah.
calorie restrictions and stuff like that. So I dropped 100 pounds in a matter of like 10 months. But as soon
Yeah.
as I started doing normal stuff, and that was all cardio driven, I rebounded and I gained about 50 of it back. So
Yeah.
that was kind of one of the big concerns when I talked to Ryan and stuff like that, was just that it's not so much for me. For me, this first year is kind of the start for me.
Yeah.
Mine is more the concern of after the first year and beyond.
Yeah.
I think that the first year is just the set the standard, and then from then on, it's just going to be the controlling it.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's why we work with clients for a longer term. I'm sure this has kind of been uh, talked about several times with you. Like we do work with a lot of our clients for 12 months and beyond. It's not a necessarily make it or break it, but that's our core program because we want to lay the foundation. And like you said, before you lost a ton of weight in a year, like crazy, right? You were probably super diligent, very restrictive, probably
Oh,
was kind of miserable. And then,
it was
but
miserable.
but it also does come down to the fact that if we do something that's extremely restrictive, it's like how long can we really keep that up? Like it's good while you're doing it, but we also want to not make it miserable because everything that's a big pain point in our life, we try to get rid of it pretty quickly.
Right.
And so it's like, do you really want to sit in that for the next like 10, 15, 20 years, like eating like this? People are like, no,
Right.
even
And that was the
tracking.
problem, is it
Yeah.
exactly that. I suffered, I sacrificed my family life because I'd come home and I'd work out while, I'd be on the Peloton bike for a couple hours and stuff like that. So that was the biggest thing that I started to notice. And then as soon as that routine even changed a little bit, it wasn't just the front engine of the train that derailed. It was the entire train that derailed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So it sounds like, we've been working with you on finding something that's a little more sustainable, both from the nutrition and the training standpoint, where you can still get like, I mean, those are freaking awesome results 30 days in, but like, I'm sure people are wondering, okay, this guy probably like didn't eat all day, ate chicken, broccoli, and rice, trained 5 days, 6 days a week. Like, has it been super crazy since you've started or?
no, in all honesty, like, and that's been kind of the nice part is that Coach Ryan was able to set me up, gave me kind of a broad spectrum for my diet wise, and
Mhm.
just said 2,000 calories and 200 grams of protein. Don't care how you get there on either one of them, but you need to make sure you get the 200 grams of protein.
Yeah.
And that, to be honest with you, initially that was probably the hardest learning factor, was being able to stay close or under the 2,000 and then still fitting in 200 grams of protein.
Yeah. Not easy.
Um, yeah, like initially it was tough. Now I think I'm getting my 200 grams of protein and kind of staying right around the 15 to 1,600 calories. And I don't really feel like I'm losing anything as far as food wise. Like
Yeah.
the cravings of sugars, like I love sweets. I didn't get to be as big as I am without eating a ton of sugar and crap like that. But being able, like now I don't have those cravings. They're nice when they're there. But to be honest with you, in the last 45 days, I think completely that I've been close enough with you guys that that's been kind of gone wayside. I don't feel
Yeah.
like I'm I'm losing anything. I don't feel like I crave those anymore because now I see on the same token the results of the hard work, and I don't want to lose that because I want a cookie.
Yeah. No, 100%. And yeah, I've been through a lot of different cuts and bulks and things in my life. I've never lost like a significant amount of weight, but I feel like every time I up my protein, eat more whole foods, like, sometimes I've gone like strict paleo, like meats, nuts, fruits, and vegetables, just like all whole foods for 30 days. I remember my wife and I mean, I eat like 80% that style right now anyways. I eat pretty clean, but we did it for like 30 days before to give it a try. And I mean, by the end of it, dessert sounded disgusting, honestly. Like I thought, I'm like, dude, day 30, we're gonna go to a buffet
Yeah.
and we're gonna crush it. And I'm like, I don't want that. So it is
Yeah.
kind of cool that you've had some of that like reset. I mean, from the metabolic standpoint, for sure. And it does take, so the human body works on a little bit of a negative feedback loop, like an air conditioner, right? It takes time. So like air conditioner doesn't shut off right when it gets to 70. It like gets there and then it has to kind of get to 71. It's like, oh, wait. So the body kind of works like that too. Both on like cuts, bulks, metabolism things. It might take a while. And for you, you're not new into fitness. You said you used to own a CrossFit gym.
I did. I used to be part owner of a gym here in Worcester, Mass. And then when my son was born, we actually sold our portion of it because it was a long commute and brand new baby, and
Yeah.
it was kind of the bigger focus of it. And honestly, it worked out great for me because now with that money, I built a pretty solid gym in my
Yeah.
garage.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
But I think that's important for people to understand too, because I think in Pursuit, we have we have a pretty wide variety of clients, but I feel like we do also have a lot of clients that are pretty fit that want to get more fit. Like that is, I think, who we have the most fun training, because I think that like, the coaches are very athletes. And, I know we were chatting before we jumped on, and I think people are hesitant about maybe getting an online coach because they figure it's just going to be another bro, right? And there's a lot of them out there like, hey dude, go lift, just basic hypertrophy, here we go, just do these splits, and and it's these like cookie cutter things. But speak on that, like, because I think I try to tell people as much as I can, like, no, this is custom to you. We do more functional type things. We understand you guys are tactical athletes. All the coaches are athletes, and we don't just go in the gym and just try to build a good physique. We want you to get fit for duty in life. So how have the workouts been from somebody that has a really good fitness background?
yeah. So honestly, like one of the big things I talked to Ryan when this all kind of started was, I am not the traditional like go in the gym, do back tries, chest buys, like that just wasn't my style.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have fun doing that. It didn't seem functional for me for the work that I do because I
Yeah.
never lay down and just do chest stuff at work. Like it's,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like who knows what that challenge is going to be, which is
Yeah.
kind of what led me into CrossFit.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously I had those hesitations that everyone else has about doing an online coach and stuff like that. Cause you do have that fear of getting screwed over or something like that. Or again, you run into the part where it's just somebody who's like, I'm going to send you the program, but it's the
Yeah.
same program that they sent the other 62 people that are in there. And the nice thing with Ryan and I is we've been able to find and they're fun. In all honesty, like I've never supersetted like I have with him, but some of the workouts are definitely a little more difficult, and I
Yeah.
think I've expressed that to him a couple times in
Yeah.
some messages, but which I think he just laughs about. But honestly, it's been fun. Like I enjoy the speed, the tempo, the everything. So you can tell that it's not just a cookie cutter. This has been designed for me, and as things progress, I kind of tell them, hey, this is going on, this is going on. Like I said before, when you and I were talking, I just messed up my knee pretty solid and looking at knee surgery, and expressed that to him the day it happened because I've been so excited with my progress that when I talked to him about it, he said, okay, well then it looks like we're going to be doing upper body for the next 8 weeks, so just knowing that fact that he was able, and he's already changed my program. My programs are all listed for all workouts that I can do without using my right leg. And that to me just shows you the integrity and everything else in the workouts, in the programming, in the diet, the everything, because if it was just cookie cutter, then you wouldn't have that same accessibility. You wouldn't have that same ability as much
Yeah.
as, within 2 days, he rewrote my entire program and said, well, we're not giving up what we've already worked to get.
Yeah.
So let's just keep pushing. So,
Yeah.
that's been
Awesome.
that's been the nice part. And that's kind of what there's been a few things that have sold me on Pursuit. I obviously had that same anxiety that everybody has, but I have no regrets and I don't look back at all.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. That's great feedback. And one thing that we're really big on for those of you watching is um, meeting with you from the get-go to do a couple things. I mean, I know you met with Jean-Luc, but one of our head coaches or myself meet with the client before they even join the program. Every single person does a Zoom call because we want to make sure it's mutually a good fit. We want to make sure that, you're fully on board, committed. That process has worked really well with us to get us to really solid clients. And most people do very well in our program. But then from the get-go, we put you on an onboarding call with your coach. Right? We put you on that Zoom call immediately. And we want to know, all right, dude, show me your gym. What's your setup? Where do you work out? How many days? And I think that is so dying in the industry because people are like, oh, how many followers can I get and how much can I sell? And, when you do this work, it is manual. It is not an automatic spreading thing. It takes high level, Ryan's very educated coaches. It takes really good high level coaches and a well-oiled system to make sure that, you have the communication. Because that's honestly the biggest thing that I hear from people that have had another online coach, because this is your first online coach.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
First online.
Usually what I hear is the latter of what you said previously, where it's like, hey, here are your workouts, here are your things. And I messaged the coach and they got back to me in 3 days. That has not been your experience, right?
No, no, no.
Yeah.
And that's honestly, I think that I've used, in-person coaches before, and the cookie cutter stuff was what I was getting. It was the same. Oh, well, I use this for all my other, bodybuilding clients and all this other stuff. Whereas with Ryan, it hasn't been that at all. I think Ryan and I text, a half dozen times a day, just, hey, I did this today, or hey, what do you think of, you know, I don't have 2 dumbbells. What would you suggest? And like being able to do those things with him, and I get a response within minutes usually.
Yeah.
It's usually super fast response. I think I've been in the middle of a workout and he's responded to me and been like, "Oh, use this." Okay,
Yeah.
so that's definitely been I honestly, the accessibility to coaches and stuff like that has been remarkable. I mean, it's kind of what keeps selling me more and more on the company. The more I dive into the program, the more, I mean, you and I have joked about some other stuff, like just seeing that aspect of a company that's what sells me on a company more than the product.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. It's awesome feedback. And uh, I'm hard on the guys in a good way because we do have a standard, and maybe it's the military or the type A in me. And, you guys are investing in this program, and I want to make sure, I mean, one thing too, and obviously the coaches are really good coaches, but when I put this together and brought people in, I'm like, I'm only hiring the best. There's no negotiation. I'm hiring people that are educated and that are like killers. And trust me, we went through a lot of coaches
I
because
bet.
the communication is that usually where that falls off. And like you said, you've done in person, and I try to get this across. I think if nobody's done in person, they don't know. But it's like, I will argue now that we've seen it, that in person or online coaching like this is better than in person, like a
I would,
hundred
I
percent.
would, I would, I would take this hands down from anybody. I've actually talked to a bunch of my buddies and stuff that being able to do what I'm doing and having a personalized workout to what my body responds to and everything else has been, it's been unbelievable, because even as frustrated as I would get, and he would be like, listen, it's coming. Just,
Yeah.
just keep doing, keep plugging, keep plugging. And that was kind of the big sell point for me, was once it started dropping, it was like the excitement between
Yeah.
him and I would just go back and forth. And then it was like, you know, like I said, being able to tighten that belt just an extra notch is big, but being able to move it 3 notches in a month, and a little over a month, has been much
Yeah, dude.
bigger.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. And I think one thing too that makes me really happy is that you've seen kind of the shift because I mean, this is, I've trained in person for over 10 years. Coach Mike, I don't know if you've met him yet, but Coach Mike, Coach Ryan have. So we've all have a lot of experience. And when I started this company, I knew what was good and what sucked about in person. Like I knew it. I've done everything that you can think of in the industry. So when we started, I'm like, here's the things that people need. Here's the things that in person can't solve. And here's what people actually need. Because I'd say also a good majority of people that we work with haven't done anything, like never had a trainer, never had a coach. And there's still, when you see the chats, there's wins all over. Those aren't all people that have this huge, great base. I mean, these are people that are like beginners. And I think the biggest thing, like you experience in person, the thing that I have a hard time with that is usually when you go to a gym, you're going to get a trainer that's not the greatest because people that are good, they don't stay at commercial gyms, hands down. They do not stay at your LA Fitness, your Crunch. They don't. So you're going to get with like 2-year trainer. They kind of know the basics. I went to, got my bachelor's exercise science. Coach Ryan has his master's. They don't even teach programming in college. So I know these people don't know programming. So they just don't know how to do it. And they're going to put you on a cookie cutter bodybuilding program. And then when you leave the gym, there's no communication, no access, no accountability. And 99.9% of in-person trainers don't do nutrition. And even if they did, they don't have like what we have, the app to communicate, guide you, all those things. So, obviously I'm passionate about it because I've seen it not work and work. And I'm glad that you took the chance to be like, all right, I've done it. I've owned a CrossFit gym. I've done the group thing. I've done in person. And this is working better for me than all those things. And obviously you have a garage gym. So it's like, I would have told you and I did, they're like, this will be sick when you do it.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, that was kind of my thing from the beginning is, I knew that the day I was signing up and I was making that decision was, I told both Jean-Luc and Ryan, I was like, I'm gonna be the picture you use at the end of this because that's where my drive was. And Ryan jokes, he's like, you're a super easy client because I don't fight you for anything. Like if I give you extra work, you just go do it. And I think some of that's just a testament to the kind of the way I grew up and stuff like that is just if it's there, why not? And if I'm seeing progress, why wouldn't I want more? And why wouldn't I keep fighting for it? And, like I said, it's been fun because now my kids come out, my daughter comes out and I'm throwing a wall ball around or a medicine ball. And she's like, well, all right, what do I do? And so now I'm showing her how to do it. And so being able to do that kind of stuff and still integrate my regular everyday life into it has been lights out for me. Like it's been solid. I have honestly no complaints. I think Ryan's been an unbelievable coach. I think that he was able to kind of recognize me and read me pretty well right from the beginning. And I think that as soon as I set my goal to him, he set his goal for me. And that was kind of where it all started. I told him, I said, I'm going to tell you now, like once this starts, it's going to be foot on the throttle and we're just going to see where it goes. And fortunately I've been able to do it for the most part.
Yeah, dude, you've been crushing it. And that's part of the reason we do have those chats. And we want to make sure, because we can do everything, but do it for you. And we do it better than the in-person, but obviously like we're not there. We can't force you. So we also, I would tell this to anybody that wants an online coach, like you need to be a little hungry. If you're hungry, you'll crush it. If you're not hungry,
yeah, and I think that goes along with everything. I think that unfortunately that if you're not hungry and you're just looking for an online coach to tell somebody, look, I have an online coach and they do some programming for me. If you're not pushing yourself to do extra weight in the gym, you're only doing the minimum that you think you're not like, you're not pushing that little extra, like maybe I could do 5 extra pounds today, or maybe I could do 10 extra pounds. Then I think that you're going to get the results that you are expecting. You're expecting to not move much and it not work out. But I think when you go into something like this and you have that hunger or you have that desire to truly make life changes and make that experience what you want it to be, I think that given there's nothing more that I could say with the company that would change my outlook of the company. Like there's nothing that would change that I would say, oh, you guys should start doing, or you need to do this, or there truly hasn't been any of that for me in the way things have worked. I've had fantastic communication. The programming's been fantastic. I love being able to track my nutrition. I think for the type A personality where I'm able to
Yep.
make sure that all my action things are checked off for the day,
Yep.
and all of that stuff has been, exact. Like there's nothing that has been left for the guesswork.
Yeah. Yeah. And we kind of, I mean, because we know the type of clients we help, primarily fire, law enforcement, military. I know how you guys work, right? Like we're kind of all wired the same a little bit. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, dude, structure, do this on this day, like this. Like, all right, let's go execute. Like that is how I design it and it's how I am. And I'm like, yeah, it's going to be laid out. And it's like every call that I do, I'm like, if you had a program that was laid out like this, is that what you're looking for? I'm just like, yes. And I'm like, yeah, that's why we designed it. And I mean, again, you got to put in the work. You put in the work. I mean, we're proud of you. Coach Ryden told me, I'm like, dang, I got to do an interview with him. That's awesome. That's crushing it. So I appreciate you jumping on. And the last thing that I would have just kind of ask you, obviously 30 days ago ish, you were kind of on the fence a little bit, to your fellow people in fire, because we have a lot of them in the program. What would you say to somebody? Because I get a lot of fire that, on different things. Some people are skinny, want to gain muscle. Some people, body composition, different goals. But what would you say to that person that's kind of on the fence about doing something to get more fit for duty and life in pursuit?
I think at the end of the day, especially, in any of it, the military, the fire, LEO, I think that any of it all makes sense. We do stuff that makes us uncomfortable all the time. Why be different in this situation? Like you're
Yeah.
doing something that you may not be comfortable with, but in everything else that we do, we find the good results. And in all honesty, like I came in, I was a little uncomfortable with the idea, but I was able to push and fight for what I wanted, and now it's just been a journey, man. It's been a ride and it's been fun. And I don't have, you know, for anybody that's questioning it, I think that if you're questioning it, you've already got that hunger, and that's all you need.
Yeah. Yeah, some of it's breaking beliefs. I actually just had a call with somebody else that's ex-military. He's like, I don't know if online coaching is going to work. And I go, yeah, valid. Like that's a concern. If you hold on to that belief, it will never work. Like,
No,
and at some point, you got to do it. I'm like, nothing's guaranteed in life. Like when you got in a relationship, that wasn't guaranteed. When you took the job, that wasn't guaranteed. When you moved,
right,
that wasn't guaranteed.
right.
So we do it all the time. And usually if you put in the work on the other side is the most beautiful things ever. So I'm glad that you took the leap and it's been awesome. And we'll work through it. I know injuries are setbacks too, but like you said, we work with a lot of people that are beat up. This community, we get it.
Uh,
I've had my fair shares of all the coaches. So it's a setback, but it's not the world's coming to an end. It's like, no,
right.
these are the cards you're dealt. Here we go. This is what we do. And yeah, we want to get you back on. We have momentum, dude. We have to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
everything in our power to keep that. Like,
And that's
let's
exactly
go.
what I said.
Yeah.
I don't want to stall where I'm at. I don't want
Nope.
to put this on freeze because he was able to accommodate. And I think that's the biggest thing is that instead of just being like, we're all done, like
Yeah.
wait till you're all healed and then come back and see us. Like
Nope.
that wasn't even an option. I don't think that
Yeah.
I think he just said, here's what you're going to do. And I said, okay.
Yeah.
So
Love
it's
it.
been great. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Well, I appreciate you jumping on, man. This was awesome. I know this is going to help anybody that watches it. And I'm glad you had a good experience. I look forward to, and the whole team working with you over the next year and beyond. And I know for you, you're like, hey, this is just the beginning, which is exciting.
Yeah.
We'll really, really build an awesome base this first year and then go from there, man. So I appreciate you jumping on.
Yeah. No problem at all, man. I appreciate the chance to, show what I've done.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, man.
All right, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.